Hi all, in this video we're going to look at the Technical Graphics Ordinary Level 2018 question 5. This is the transformation geometry question and it is based on the CloudKey logo for the online data storage company. So let's get started. So in this question what we're going to do is we're going to set up where the points are A1, A2, A3, our movement points, and then we're going to look at the logo that we actually have to move. Okay, so this is going to be the first part of the question, just to set up the logo and the different points. So what I'm going to do is we can see that this is based basically on like a rectangle. We have A, A1, A2, A3, okay, and they're all around each other. So I'm going to start off by drawing a line across the top. And again, if we look closely from A there to A3, we can see that there's a measurements of 60 and another 60. So that's 120 in total. So I'm actually going to mark off the two 60s in the same go. So we're going to mark off our 60 and then our next 60. Okay, so that's actually going to already straight away give me point A here and A3 over here, and it's also going to give me point L up here. When I have those, I have to draw vertical lines down from each one of those to find the next set of points. And again, if we look closely to the question on the right hand side, we can see two other measurements, a 50 and a 50, and that gives us where my A2 is and also my point O. So I'm going to mark those down then. So again, let's measure down 50 and another 50. Okay, again that will give me point O, and these measurements along the bottom will give me the point that I need at the base of this. So again, there's point O, and also we've got A2 here. Okay, we have our L1 here, and we've found our A1 just down here. So this is the path, if you will, that this logo is going to go around, from A to A1, A1 to A2, and A2 to A3. Okay, so once you've that set up, our next job is set up the logo itself. Now if we look closely at the logo, it's basically based on a circle. We have a measurement at the top here of 60, so we know that the diameter of this outside circle is radius 60. So we're going to mark off that, and again we can see from the question it's directly outside of A, so it's in line with A, the center of this circle. So that's really important. Okay, so as A is here, the center is directly outside that, and we know the diameter is 60, therefore the radius is going to be 30. So I'm going to mark off 30 here, and I'm going to use my compass, put the points that comes down at the mark 30 we marked off, and I'm drawing a circle all the way around. This is a light circle to start with because we don't need all of the circle itself. Okay, so again, just to mark off some of those points, I'm going to mark off the center here. So let's mark that center in red. We're going to need that point. That's a really important point for us. So there is C, the center. Okay, now once you've that done, if we look back at the question again, we can see there's another measurement down here at the bottom. That's 30. What does that measurement tell us? Well, it's telling us the diameter of the small inside circle. It's also telling us that we've a flat part at the bottom of this logo, okay, and that width is 30 also. And it's giving us the point at where the bottom of this triangle part of the logo itself is. So we've a lot of measurements from that. So with that in mind, from the center, I'm going to measure out 15, because if we were told the diameter was 30, we know the radius is half that, is 15. And again, using my compass, point the points of the compass at the center point, I'm going to draw in a circle that is radius 30. Again, I'm drawing this lightly all the way around. Okay. What does the logo tell us? Well, the outside of these circles, the diameter, we bring straight down. And that's giving us the flat edge here at the bottom. So I'm going to mark off that. Okay, we know that that's the flat edge just there. And we also are told that the angle line is coming from the center down to the one here on the bottom left. So I'm going to mark off that. That's a light line. Okay. And once you've that done, you've nearly all the information for our drone. We've only one more part to put in. And again, if we look closely to the question, we can see here right beside A, we've an opening in the circles to form the part C. And that is an overall size there of 10. Again, that's based around the point A. So if it's 10 overall, we know it's going to be 5 either side. So I'm going to mark off that. So it's 5 mil either side of this center line A here. Okay. And once you've that done, I can draw a heavy line over between the two circles. That's giving me the center of this part C. Now once you've that done, you've all the information you need to go ahead and draw in this logo in heavy. So again, I've got my compass set up to the small inside circle. So I'm going to put the point of the compass down, open it up, and I'm drawing a heavy circle all the way from this opening all the way around, okay, to where my angle line hits on the opposite side. So again, that's in heavy all the way there. It then takes a break, okay, between the angle line and this vertical line, my center line here, and it's a heavy edge all the way up again to the outside here, okay, this entrance my C. And on the outside, again, I'm opening up all the way out to radius 30, and it's a heavy circle all the way along the outside, all the way until we get to the flat edge down here. Okay, so I can mark that here. And again, from the flat edge on the right, all the way to point A up here. Okay. Once we've that done, we've only 2 other lines to draw on. We've got this heavy edge from the center all the way down to the inside circle. And we've a heavy edge from the center, which is the angle line, bringing us down here. But we stop to the inside circle. So once you've that done, that's our logo complete and our setup complete. What we're going to do now before we start moving is we're going to mark off some key points in relation to this. So we're going to mark off this point here, okay, which is directly underneath the center point where the vertical line is going to meet up. And we're going to call that point, let's call it point B at the bottom. And we're going to mark off this point right here where my angle line is coming in. And let's call that point maybe T. Okay. So we're going to mark off that. Again, what's also important is just to remember that the entrance of this logo is going to be on beside point or beside A. Okay, so just remember that that is where the center of it is. Okay, so we don't need to mark any of those, but you can if you want, just to label one, just to remind yourself where they are. But if we just, it's all based around this logo down here. So once you've that done, that's our setup basically complete. All I'm going to do next is just to shade in the logo, just so we can see what it is we're moving, just because it's sometimes easier to visualize this. Okay, so this is the image we want to move around on each of our next 3 movements. Okay, so it comes all the way down here. Don't forget it's the 10 mil opening there, and we've got this part of the bottom all the way down to the flat edge of the bottom that is width of 30 mil across. So we can see now from our question that that is part A of the question done. What we need to do is move on to part B, and we need to look at the first part of this. This is from A to A1 by a translation. So to do the translation then, we're going from A to A1. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find out the angle and the distance between those. So from A to A1. So that yellow line shows us the angle and the distance we have to translate this image. So we can see here, it's straight down, okay? So it's, let's say, I suppose south of this, if we will. And we have the distance here we have to move down. So with that information in mind, we have to move all our key points, C, B, and T, down south of A to A1, and that set distance. So I'm going to draw those down. So I'm moving point C first. So what is the distance? Well, I'm opening up from A to A1 on my compass. Okay. I'm taking that exact distance and I'm going from C, and I'm going to mark off here. Okay, and on that line, which is directly underneath, this is going to give me point C1. Okay, so what is C1? Well, it's the exact same distance from C okay, to C1, which is the exact same as from A to A1. My next one is B, so it's directly underneath C, so I have the line drawn already. So what do? I take the point of my compass from A to A1, and I'm going from B to B1. Okay, so take that exact distance, the exact same as I did from C to C1, B to B1, and that there then is giving me the point B1. Okay, so the B at the bottom. My next one to do is to do point T. So I draw a light line down, and again, how far down is it? It's the same distance from A to A1. It's the same as from T to T1. So I mark off that distance, and that there is giving me point T1. And again, that is the exact same distance here in yellow all the way down there, from T all the way down to T1. So once we've that done, that is all our key points in, and now we're going to draw the logo exactly as we drew it up here. So what was the first thing we did? Well, we drew a small circle that was going from C to A. So this time I'm going from C1 to A1. So I draw a small circle all the way around, and it's a light circle now because we don't need all of that as we saw the first time. What did I do next? I drew another small circle. How will I find out where that is? Well, it's going from C to B here. B was on that circle. So point the compass at the center, open it up to B, which will be radius 15. And again, I'm going to draw that small circle all the way around here. Once we've that done, you've got all the information we need to draw the logo. The only parts we're missing is this 10mm, and we know that that's beside A. So I'm going to mark off 5mm either side of this center line between C and A. So that's why that one's important, okay? We could even, if you like, maybe put a red dotted line on that for us to see. So that red dotted line is important. That's the line from C to A, okay? So again, that is the part that I'm going 5mm either side of. So once I've that done, I can draw a heavy line between the two circles on those points. Okay, and once I've that done, I can go ahead and draw on this angle part. What did I do? It was a heavy line from C to B. So there's the heavy line from B to C. Then I have the angle line that goes from C to T. Okay, but it's only heavy from C to the inside circle. So I draw that. And then what else do we have? We've got the bottom edge that's horizontally across from point C between the big circle. Okay, so we mark off that. When you've that done, we now go ahead and go back and draw in the heavy circle. So it's going from the point at the top up here, okay, where my 10mm line intersected the circle. So it's a heavy line, heavy circle all the way around until the angle line here intersects the bottom here, and then I'm going from the vertical line here at B all the way up to that opening edge again. Okay, what do I do then? I'm drawing the outside circle. So again, it's going from A all the way around, so it's a heavy circle all the way around here on the outside to point T. Okay, so all the way around to point T at the outside. And then I'm going from the flat edge back into point A. Okay. So that is that done. Once you've that done, that is my first part of part B done, my first movement. And that there is a translation. So we'll mark that off. So a translation. And we went from where? From A to A1. Okay, and we went that distance. And again, just to maybe show exactly the image, we're going to just shade in that logo again really quickly. So that then is part 2 of part B, our translation done. So again, if we look closely to the question, our next part of the question is B part 2, which from A2 to A3 we have to do an axial symmetry through the line LL1. So our first job to do then is to find our axis line. So we were told from L to L1. So I'm going to join L to L1, okay? And I'm just going to extend it on as well, okay? Because the image is below point L as well, so we're going to need that. But I'm going to mark that off and I'm going to call that my axis. That is going to be important. So that's why I'm flipping it around. So just remember, axial symmetry, what we're doing is we're flipping it over this line. Again, picture it as a mirror image of it, and we're going to see its reflection over here. Okay, so what do we do? Well, to do this, we're going to bring the points at 90 degrees to the axis. So I'm going to go from A through the axis to A2. Okay, remember that they have to meet my axis at 90 degrees. So I'm going to bring A through the axis to A2, and remember the rule, whatever the distance from the point to the axis on one side, that distance is the exact same as the axis to the point on the opposite side. Okay, so those distances are the same. Now we need to do the exact same thing with all our other key points. So we're going to deal with the center first, so point C. So I bring it across the axis. Okay, whatever the distance from the axis to the point is the same as the axis to our new point. Okay, so they're coming over at 90 degrees. Okay, again, I'm going to mark off that. That's going to be called C2. I'm at the second A now. Next thing is point B, which was at the bottom. So bring that at 90 degrees. Again, make sure they are meeting it at 90 degrees. Okay. What do? We put the point of the compass on the axis line where this line meets the axis, open it up to point B, and we keep that point of the compass on the axis and mark it over the opposite side. And again, there is B2. Okay. Remember, whatever the distance from B1 to the axis is the exact same as the axis to B2. So this distance just here, from there to the point, is the exact same as from the axis to the new point. So those distances are the same. Last one we need to do is point T. So again, I bring it across the axis at 90 degrees. Where that line hits my axis line goes the point of the compass. Open it up to the new point T and step it across the opposite side. Okay, and there we go. That is going to be my T2. And remember again, the distance from the point to the axis is the same as the axis to the new point. So that distance there is the exact same as this distance just here. Again, once we have all these points here now, we've got all the points we need to draw in the logo. Again, what's the last thing we need to remember is this red dotted line. So that is going from C to point A. So I'm going to mark off that. That's going to be an important line for us as well, as we saw up here. Once you've that done, we've got all the information we need. How did we draw the logo? Well, we put the points to the compass at point C. We opened it up to point A. So I go from C2 to A2. And I draw in my circle all the way around. Okay. A light circle to start with. What did we do then? Well, we had the point of the compass on C. We opened it up to B, which was the radius 15. So I'm going from C2 to B2 here. And again, I'm going to draw in that circle lightly all the way around. When you've that done, what did we do then? Well, we had to find out the opening here. So again, we mark off 5 mil either side of this center line. Okay, just like we did up here. And they're a heavy line across between the two circles. Okay, so we've that done. What did we have then? We had a heavy line between C and B. So there's C2 to B2. Heavy line down there. We had an angle line which we joined C to T. So again, there's C to T. And it was a heavy line between C and the inside circle. What did we have then? We had a heavy horizontal line at the bottom from C, or from T, excuse me, all the way over to the outside of the other circle, of the outside circle. So there we go, just there. Okay. So what do we do then? We have to draw in the circles in heavy. So the inside one goes from our opening here, and we're drawing a heavy circle all the way around to my angle line here on this side. We take the space, and then it's a heavy one from the vertical line all the way up to the bottom side of the opening of the C. Again, next thing I need to do is the outside, so point the compass in the center, open it up to the outside, to the 5mm line at the top here, and I'm drawing a heavy circle all the way around to the flat surface at point T. Okay, so I draw that heavy all the way around, and then I go from the flat side of the other edge all the way here to the opening of the circle again. Okay, once you've that done, that is the next part of our question fully complete. That is our axial symmetry. And where did we go? We've went from A1 to A2. So again, just for a bit of clarity, we're going to shade in this again. So that is our logo then moved over to A2 through axial symmetry. Again, if we look closely to the question, we can see B part 3. Our last part of our question is to go from A2 to A3 by central symmetry through the point O. So that's the next thing we're going to look at. So to do this, we're going to go from A2 through point O all the way to A3. Okay? And again, remember the distance from A2, so this distance from A2 through O is the exact same as O to A3, the new one. So those distances are the exact same. And that's the rule we have to remember. Similar to axial symmetry, instead of going through a line, we're going to go through a point O. Okay, so I'm going to mark off C. So here's point C. So it goes through point O. Okay, light line all the way up. I'm going to take my compass. The point of the compass always goes on my center point. This is point O. Open it up to the point I want to move, so C2. And I'm taking that distance. Keep the point of the compass on point O, and we mark it off the opposite side. And once we've done that, we can find here our new center point, and there is C3. Again, if we remember, we look at this, the distance from C through point O is all the way through. So the distance from C to O, from here to here, is the exact same from O to point C3. So that distance is the exact same. Let's look at another point. Let's take point B. So B2. So B2 goes through point O. So there's the light line going through. Take our compass, put the point of the compass at O, open it up to point B. Keep the point of the compass at point O and swing that all the way up. And there we go, we've got point B3 up at the top, up here. Okay, where the arc we marked off meets our angle line. Again, the distance from B to O, this distance here, is the exact same as O to the new one. So this distance here is the exact same as this distance here. Okay. Last point we need to move is point T. So again, T goes through O, extends it on. Whatever the distance, point the compass at O, whatever the distance from O to the point is the exact same as O to the new point. So again, just here, we've got our new T, so that is T3. So once you've got all your points are found, the next thing we need to just do is find this red line so we know where the opening of the C goes, and that is from A to C. So here's A3, there's C3, so that is my red dotted line there. That's where the opening is going to go. Once you've that done, we can go ahead and start drawing in some of the circles. So how do we draw the circle? Point to the compass at the center, open it up to A. Okay, that's what we did all the way over here, and we draw in our arc. Okay, so that's that. Okay, again, we're not going to draw it in heavy, we don't need it. What did we do then? Point the compass at the center, we opened it up to point B. Okay, because that's giving us our radius 15, and again we draw in that circle in lightly. Okay, what did we do then? Well, we came 5mm either side of the red dotted line, so we'll mark that off. Okay, so here and here. And that was giving us the heavy edges we could draw between the two circles. Okay, so there's the bottom one and there's the next one. Okay, what did we do then? We had a heavy line from C to B. So I mark off that. And then we had the angle line from C down to T. So I draw that lightly. And again, it's only heavy from C to the inside circle. Okay, so there's that line drawn. What do I do then? I've got my flat edge at the bottom from T all the way over. Okay, so there's that marked. And my last job then, again, to do is to draw in the circles. So I have my compass opened, points the compass in the center. I have it opened up here. I go from A, okay, here, all the way around to my angle line. Okay, and that's the bit I'm drawing in heavy. So it comes all the way around there. Let's get that drawn neatly. Okay, and then I'm going from the angle line here again, or the vertical line, to the ends of that. Okay, once you've that done with the outside circle, so again, points the compass down, open it up to the entrance of the C, or the start of the C, and it's a heavy line or a heavy circle all the way around to point T. Okay, and I skip over to the other side of my horizontal line from the opposite of T, and it's a heavy line all the way up to the end of the part of my entrance there of my C. And once we've that done, we're going to just shade that in again. And again, that is our question pretty much done. So what have we just done there? We have done a central symmetry. And where did we go? We went from A2 to A3. And at that stage, folks, that is your question fully complete. So that is the Technical Graphics Ordinary Level 2018 question 5. Our transformation geometry of the logo of the CloudKey online data storage logo. Hopefully this video helps you with your homework and revision of this question. Good luck.